Hey everybody, welcome to our video. My name's Esther, and I'm so sorry. That was like the worst. My name's Esther. I sounded so I sounded like. Let me restart this. Welcome. Hi, my name's Esther, and today in this video, I'm gonna be talking about dreams. But before we oh my gosh, before we start, let's just hit. Okay, so, oh my gosh. Okay, so dreams. So I wanted to talk to you, and I don't know, I just felt like dreams have been on my mind. Dreams, I've been having a lot of them, so I'm just like, well, why not make a YouTube video? um, okay, so I wanted to talk about dreams, but like the different types of dreams. Like, for one, you have dreams when you're sleeping. Two, you have dreams like goals, plans for your future, like things you want to see happen, And I wanted to talk to you guys and gals about both those things. So first, dreams while you're sleeping. What do they mean? Why do we have them? Why do we have crazy dreams? Like, why can't they just be nice and good and normal? But how come we have to have scary ones sometimes? And what is like the why do we have why are the emotions so strong like when we have dreams? Cuz I had this dream. I'll tell you one of my dreams that I've had. I'm 19, and this was about when it was just when I was younger. Excuse me just one second. Okay. So, and I had this dream when I was younger. Like, I was like not even in middle school yet. I was like either 4th or 5th grade. And I remember having this dream about I was like older in this dream, and I was in the dream, like I was walking around with everybody, and I I was just observing, and I was feeling like the pain, like no, like it was kind of like uh, a Christmas Carol, how they had him, like the past, present, and future had him, showing him his life. It was kind of like that. And I just remember being like older, and I was being rushed, like people were in a hurry, um and I was like pregnant, and I was like to me I was just like, why am I pregnant in this dream? Like, why am I older? I'm just like a little kid, And I remember rushing into a hospital, and it was like this really tall building, and I remember seeing my sisters and my mom, their husbands, like we were all older, and I remember seeing this man, and he was like, "It's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay," and I'm like, "What?" And turns out he was my husband. And the thing about it is when we got into the labor room, immediately I wasn't pregnant anymore, and I was looking around, and I was confused, and I was like, where's my baby? If I had it, it's not in me anymore. Like, where is it? And so I'm like asking everybody, but nobody's like talking to me. Nobody's telling me anything. And so I go, and I get off of the bed, and I'm starting to walk around, and I go into the waiting room where my family is. And they're just like, "Oh my gosh, Esther, what are you doing?" And I'm like, where's, I'm saying the name. It was like, I can't remember the name, but it was like a beautiful name, and it was like to a baby girl, and I remember they're just like, Esther, like, what do you mean? Like, the doctors, they're in the room with your husband, like, the baby is, like, the baby and the doctor, the nurse, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I go back into the room, completely empty, and there's this big, and there's only a window. There's not even a bed. There's like medical stuff, like, that's always hanging on the walls and like the cabinets and stuff, and a large window, and all I see, but there's like no bed or anything else, no doctors, no baby, and I'm like, okay. And so I'm looking out the window, and as I'm looking out the window to see what is going on out there, um, all of a sudden, like, I'm like zapped through the window, and I'm like being chased by these three like dark figures. Like, they were running after me. They looked human, but they were just like kind of creepy, and I just didn't know who they were. So I was like running, and like, I hate these dreams. It was one of those dreams where it was a moment of treadmill time. Like, I was running in place, and I was looking at myself in the dream, like my younger self looking at my older self, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, what are you doing? Jump off the thing and run. You're about to die. Like, and it was like, I'm here, I'm running, staying in motion. They're catching up. Boom is right when they were right here is when I was like treadmill off, and I was like boom, and I was like inside the hospital again. But then like the figures were like banging on the doors and like climbing up the walls, and I'm like, oh, this is like some I'm questioning myself right now, and I was like, what the heck? What are you doing, Esther? And so I'm inside the hospital, and my sisters and my family, they were just like, Esther, are you okay? Like, why aren't you with baby? Like, everybody's been looking for you. Like, everybody's been trying, because it's feeding time. You need to feed her. And I was like, oh, okay. And so we were going back into the motions of things, into that familiarness, and then all of a sudden, like, there was this like boosh, and there's this big explosion from down the lobby, and all I hear is like this, like, these two dark figures talking. I can hear what they're saying. It's like it's not even human, but they look human, and so I was like confused. I was like, what? And but they didn't have features. It was just like a dark figure. Like, say if I was just like a shadow, and like you could see my body, you could see my hands, my nose, like the shapes, but you can't tell what I am. You don't know if I'm like, I couldn't tell if they were female or male, or if that even mattered. But like, so it was insane, and they were running throughout the hospital trying to find my room where my family was, where my baby was. And I'm like, oh, heck to the no. And so I'm like, hey, you guys, we should go up to the roof. So I press like the fire thing, and for some reason, when I press the fire, like, you pull the fire alarm, and everybody went up to the roof. Like, I don't know why we were going up to the roof. Like, I mean, it makes sense because we're being chased by people, but the hospital, like every single patient, every single doctor and nurse, like everybody was up on the roof, and it was just a super tall building, like almost like slight, like right under, like oh my gosh, it was a little bit shorter. I wanted to say that the Eiffel Tower maybe, but it was like tall. It was like up there, like our heads were in the clouds, and so, oh my gosh, it was crazy. We were all up there, and all of a sudden, there's this dark figure coming up out of the roof, the door of the roof, like coming out, and it's looking at everybody, and I'm like, oh, talking mushrooms, I'm doomed. And so it's coming closer, and it's moving everybody else and coming straight for me, straight for my being, and my my conscious self observing everything in the dream was just like, okay, like, it's coming towards me and my baby. Like, I need to do something. Like, and so I run. I don't know how, but I managed to run, and I went through the dark figure, and there was this big explosion. Like, cause it was like I was made out of like this like dim light, and so I started going towards the figure. When I crashed into him, I exploded into him, and like basically light overcoming darkness for a split moment, like that kind of thing. There was this big explosion, and it made the building fall over. So everybody's starting to fall over. Everybody's falling off, and oh, it was so crazy. Everybody's just falling off the building, and my family's like holding on, and people I know are holding on. A few people I didn't know were holding on, but majority, like I'm talking about 95%, fell off the building. Like, it was kind of sad, and I was like crying, like my conscious self, because I was still observing. Like, it was as if like I duplicated myself, and then one of me chased after him, and then the other one was still there observing everything, you know. And so so I was just like, oh, shiitake mushrooms. Like, this is not happening right now. And I was like crying. I was like, oh my gosh, please don't let me die, please don't let me die. And then all of a sudden, the older me, you know, starts falling with my baby in my hands, and my conscious self is like, oh no. And I reach out, and then I start falling, and I either had the choice to let go, or else I fall too, or I can just let that me fall, and then just nothing will happen to me. I'm just observing that me fall and die. So the first time I had this dream, I had it twice. And the first time I had it, I let myself fall. And that was like traumatizing, because I was like, oh my gosh. And I woke up, and I was like, I couldn't breathe. Like, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I was crying, and it was a mess, and my mom came in, and I was just like, Mom. And no, but then the second time I had it, I caught myself, and I fell with him. And as I fell, like, you know that falling feeling? Like, I seriously fell so hard in my dreams and so fast in my dream that when it sprung me awake, like, I could not, oh my gosh, like, I was on the edge of my bed, and I was just like, and I like it shook me so good, like, and I thought I was really falling, that I flew. I like I don't know, like, I jerked awake, and then like it scared me so good, like I jumped like an extra couple and rolled and fell on the ground. Like, it was like that intense, and I was like, oh my gosh, and it was crazy. But that was one of the dreams I had, and for the life of me, I still don't know what that dream means. But I'm just like, ugh. You know, so, okay, tell me some of your guys' dreams. Like, you know, like, I would really love to hear it. I would love to hear, like, the types of dreams you guys have. And if you guys have listened this far into the video, I know it's taking forever, but thank you. I appreciate you. You're amazing. I guess I won't talk about, I guess I'll just mention one thing. If you have dreams that are like for goals and like for your future, like you see a certain thing that you want, and you're just like, I need this in my future. Like, my dream is to be an author. And so if you have something like that, or even just something totally different, like, that's fine. Like, just tell me in the comments below. I would really love to hear. Tell me what else you guys want me to talk about. Tell me anything. So, gonna take this hit, and then we're gonna end the video. Alright, so if you like this video, like it. If you want to subscribe, please do. I would love to have more subscribers, more family. Adios.